These matches are getting started nice and quick today. I'm not getting much of a chance to talk nonsense, which is a good thing, and also sometimes slightly a bad thing, I guess. Bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player from Wind and Rain. This is souL. Up against the blue Terran to the bottom left-hand side from Starcom, we have ourselves BratOK. What's up, Foster, in the chat? How you doing, buddy? How you feeling? Hope you're doing well. Couple of depots coming up here. I'm not sure what the second depot so far over here is for, though. Sometimes TvT can be a bit of an interesting one with like Reaper play and stuff. I just don't know what this depot does at all. Like, it doesn't really give him... I guess it does give him a bit of vision over to this corner. Huh. That's so weird. Right, like... I haven't seen this depot placement at all in a TvT, so I actually don't know what to make of that right now. I've got nothing to tell you. As you see the command center dropping down in the natural expansion. And the same thing from souL, but he was a bit faster on it. He went for one gas expand, which means that his factory comes down that a little bit later on. Although he is already setting up in towards a cyclone, so he's a little bit faster, and that's because he skipped a Reaper. So while he usually will have less gas, we're going to be seeing no second Reaper. I mean, he could be a little bit more exposed here, and he also bypassed the Hellions. So again, BratOK is kind of playing fairly safe, and souL is actually playing quite greedy, and so the safe BratOK is getting punished for this. It gives supply. I know the supply depot gives supply. I just don't know why it's here. Right? Like, I can understand if he was making a wall off here to deal with perhaps like a Reaper play or something earlier, but to put the first depot here and second depot, it's just interesting. I don't have a reason for that to be there apart from maybe vision on this corner. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, well, we do see a bunker up at the front as the Cyclone locks onto the Reaper, trying to pick up information, so BratOK able to clean that up. So far, this is our second series of BratOK today. He's 0-1 in the group. souL is 1-2, though. So, someone somewhere has to be racking up wins. Now, souL is 1-2, Reynolds 1-1, Geralt 1-0, and Rail 1-0. I think Rail and Geralt shining at the moment. Interested to see where this group's going to go, actually. I'm kind of don't really know what to tell you in terms of how this group's going to go, right? It's going to be a little bit crazy, I think. As you see this Cyclone from souL moving out into the center of the map. Bunker from BratOK will drop down here in the front of the natural. So that bunker is getting set up at the moment. Are these games live or replays? They are live. Use that live command. Live. Boom. There you go. Cyclone coming across here from souL as he wants to try and poke the front. I mean, locks onto the bunker. SCV would have gone down there if he'd gotten the SCV lock on, so a little bit of a shame. There's obviously souL going into the Cloak of Banshees. We see that in the production tab. The faster stim from BratOK then, so just trying to go straight into bio. He's got a very fast third CC. If BratOK gets away with this, brilliant, but he is going to be so vulnerable to any sort of push from souL, and I do not believe that there's going to be a... I refuse to believe there's going to be no push from souL, right? Especially when he comes in here and he sees straight up like, oh, there's racks. Oh, you don't really prioritize the factory. You have no starport, for example. Scan comes down there. Banshee will prioritize getting out of scan range and will continue to be an annoyance as this Cyclone takes quite a lot of damage, actually. One hit from death. Banshee also low, backs away. This army now from souL should just go. Just go, honestly. Like, I feel like what have you seen that says, oh, he's going to be able to hold a push? Seeing the first CC should definitely mean souL pushes forwards, I think. I think it's just a hugely wasted opportunity. I mean, there's not even a siege tank on the way out. Maybe he's afraid of stim. I guess stim can actually be... I mean, stim can be good, but then you just have to be more careful with the tanks, right? Like, you just have to make sure your tanks siege up from a bit away and you leapfrog them forwards, more so than anything else. SCV comes down towards the natural as the Banshee coming in from the right-hand side. Going to try and get another couple of SCVs here. Getting one more and trying to get a Hellion, but doesn't quite make it. That's scan. Somehow the Banshee got lost the lock, and I guess it got out of turret range for just a second before the scan came down. So that was a bit of a wasted scan. Banshee surviving. souL going in towards his own bio play, but is going to be behind on +1/+1. Is going to be behind on stim. And this is why I feel souL generally in this situation should have pushed, because now BratOK has been very greedy. He's had a faster third CC, albeit having taken some damage. He's now down by 5 or 6 workers. These Marines of BratOK just going to be hanging out the front of the natural. So 2 drops from BratOK. I mean, this is where BratOK becomes very powerful, right? He's got stim on a lot of Marines, but souL is well positioned. I mean, he does have a good number of tanks, so that's the one thing that can be said for him. Drops are unlikely to find many openings, and so far BratOK, first the 2 medevacs, has been unable to find anything, of course. Now, setting up at the front here, medevacs, Marines, and a tank will come out the front of this third orbital. 2 upgrades coming down from BratOK in the bottom left-hand side. So Zombie BratOK starting to push across. Again, the 1-1 coming up here from souL as well. And that stim pack is also about to finish. Armory dropping down in the back of the main, so souL a little bit late to go into 2-2. We'll put him even further behind on the upgrades than he already was, so just being delayed there slightly. Oh my god, those medevacs have to be paid attention to, because BratOK is going to be right underneath them. souL is not paying attention. He loses one of his medevacs. And a stim for number 2. The boost is there to protect it. But that's straight up just 10 supply going down. So souL boosting this medevac back towards this third orbital here, where he will unload some of these Marines. Never tank sieges, Marines and tanks loading up. He's going to go for a big drop in the main. I love it. Although a second tank is about to pop, souL is somewhat fortunate with the timing of this. Well, you know, honestly, even from a distance here, you can get quite a lot done, I feel, as BratOK. I mean, Sensor Tower, Engineering Base, for example. All of those obviously going to be huge things to get rid of. He does end up just getting a couple of tanks, SCV kills. Interference Matrix comes down to stop medevac lifting up, or especially to stop it boosting, so he'll guarantee himself a kill there. I feel the one thing that BratOK missed killing was this Sensor Tower. Because killing this Sensor Tower not only makes souL weak, it's still just an expensive kill. You know, 100 gas to rebuild that, it's not cheap to replace. So, it's so easily killed as well, right? Like a Sensor Tower goes down so fast. 200 health, you've got Marines in a tank. I know there was other things to target, but I feel like Sensor Tower is a hugely valuable thing because it creates more opportunity for later, because souL is not going to be as well prepared for future drops into the main for a little while. So he has to be a little bit more cautious, and then you can use that presence or that ability to be more present on the map to your advantage. Marines here are going to be able to get rid of that one Marine coming forward. souL is pressing in. You know what? After that last attack, souL does have an army supply lead. Interference Matrix on the forward siege tank, and well, BratOK just shouldn't be fighting here. He should be fighting with more tanks, but that's his only tank that was down on the low ground. Everything else was up in his main, so he's going to take a ton of damage. And souL on the counterattack is putting himself into a huge lead. Maybe overstimming a little bit as he goes for that third base. Those Marines in the red and orange health need to hang back. They can't run into tank fire. But huge damage done, killing the third orbital. BratOK does have a 4th base down to the south, but souL's getting his 4th base up as well. BratOK realizing that he just has to replace an orbital here. You can't just play a mule down. Couple Liberators setting up. We haven't really seen much contest for air control so far in this game number 1. In fact, we've seen basically no contest for air control in this game number 1. Siege tank survives. And he's going to load up, and now it's going to be souL's turn to come into this main base here. Starts to unload. Even the low health medevac doesn't get targeted. And well, at this point again, we saw BratOK doesn't really have much. souL should be able to shut down a lot of production. BratOK knows it. Types out GG. souL taking game number 1 of this best. As it is starting off to the bottom right hand side, the red Terran player. This is BratOK. Up a game in the top left, our blue Terran is Wind and Rain souL. Getting this ready to go in just a moment. What's up, a Canadian 252 in the chat? Love you too, buddy. Doesn't look like Wardy could grow a beard. I don't think I could grow a good beard. I can grow a bit of a beard. it's nothing impressive. Like, I've never really left it long enough to see what happens, you know. But I can get a little bit of hair on here. So people complain when I don't shave. Who knows? Yeah, tomorrow is the 2018 has left the game final playoffs, the final day of what has been an amazing tournament for us. And not only that, but I'm also going to be casting a cup that I'm running on BratOK in the evening. So you get a double dosage of Wardy tomorrow. Going to be great. Grow a beard for chat. This year, if I grow a beard for chat after 2 days, someone's like, Wardy, if you're sponsored by a shaving company, why haven't you shaved? It's, it happens a lot. Already, you know? 700 sub goal, Wardy grows a beard. I actually think we're going to go down in subs the next couple of days. I think the next couple of days is a sub drop-off. I'm going to lose like 15 or 20. Which isn't a lot. We've gone up so many recently. But then we should actually just go up. I actually think at the moment, with the current way things are going, I think there's a very good chance that we could reach 750-ish subscribers perhaps in total. Before we start really seeing huge drop-offs. Because in a couple of days after the next set of subs drop off, the next what was I going to say? The next kind of drop off then, I was basically, about a month ago, I was away for a week for Home Story Cup, so we have like a whole week and a half or so to basically grind and see how high we can get the sub count. It's going to be pretty sick. Looking forward to it. See how high we can get with the StarCraft hype. Anyways, 2 Reapers and a Hellion moving across to the top left-hand side. A command center on the natural here from souL, as that Reaper just chilling out on the natural as well. Going to be seeing the couple of units coming across. souL again, only a single Reaper, but he did get a Hellion this time, and that's going to help a lot. As actually those couple of Marines, I think, definitely catching BratOK a little bit off guard. He'll lose his Reaper here. Thinks about sending that one up into the main. Decides not to. Then he does decide to. A little bit of should I or should I not? Just then. Eventually does get up to the top side, and we'll see that Reaper chased down. So Reaper going down there is. You see the Hellion just going to be pulling back into the natural. Cyclone will start to go across the map here as well. The Cyclone is a big part of this TvT early game because it is still so powerful and very few things can actually kill a Cyclone. Although the other day I saw someone with some sick micro managed to kill a Cyclone with 3 or 4 Hellions. He actually, like, I can't remember who it was, but it was on stasis and 4 Hellions fought 2 Cyclones and 1. And I was just like, what? Really? It was crazy. They killed 1 Cyclone, they pushed the other away. It was like, it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. Raven finishes up in the main base there. So Raven popping out. Bunk with a few Marines inside on the natural. A few more Marines just hanging around, hanging out by it as well. And you do just see the Ravens. Obviously very crucial in the TvT. We saw the importance of an interference matrix when souL pushed up that ramp on Automaton last game to shut down the only tank that was there. I mean, obviously the fact that it was the only tank that was there was obviously not a good thing for BratOK either, but interference can go a huge way. We saw anti-armor missiles in the last game as well. Just so much utility on that you can continue to use. Going to be seeing the command center from souL coming up in the main base. So let's just get started now. Starport moves over towards the reactor, racks onto the tech lab. Threads you see on both sides of the map is really nothing crazy. But what is interesting is we're seeing mech out of souL here already. Going to be seeing a couple of Vikings on the way up. And we're going to be seeing a couple of tanks out the front, Cyclone as well. And obviously just going to be playing mech, where we do see Bio from souL. Because he's going... Sorry, I thought souL was in red. BratOK is going into mech. souL is going into bio with that sim now starting. But they're both prioritizing Vikings on a reactor. So again, a lot of air control going here. Do I think I can advance in the Clash Castle, Tony? No. Absolutely no chance. Jim Ryzen is by far and away the favorite for the entire tournament. And in control is just too good for me. And I also really suck in TvP, so I have absolutely no hope of advancing. Like, I would like to build the hype and say that I'm going to be able to do something or, you know, whatever. But, like, honestly, it's not going to be pretty. I haven't been able to play that much StarCraft lately because I've been casting so much. It's not going to be pretty. I don't really stand much of a chance in the first place, so don't get hyped is what I'm saying. Raven those few Vikings up on the high ground. As we're going to be seeing the units just setting up towards the front. Marines, tanks gathering up at the front as well. There's another tank going to get set to go. Oh, here we go. A couple of Vikings starting to fire. Interference Matrix coming down. That will win souL this fight in the skies. Because all of these Vikings from BratOK just can't fight for a while. So this is really nice. If you're the bio player and you win the air control, suddenly the mech army definitely has more trouble dealing with Liberators and a lack of air control than the bio army. A couple of auto turrets there do come down though, and they will help to fight this back. So souL will lose some of his Vikings. The tank fire here, not brilliant, and the lack of air control now means he doesn't see the siege tank properly. This tank though wandering in from a bit of a funky angle. Still stays alive, however. A couple more Vikings from souL, but they're not really going to be able to do all that much. He's still in range of this orbital, so he's still able to get damage dealt here. He's repairing up the Viking, and again a tank getting taken down on the left side. Couple more Vikings coming in. All of these Vikings setting up to the top left as we see the +1/+1 upgrades coming through. Combat shields getting started on the bottom side of the map. A couple of armories, Liberators. All of this getting going. And those Vikings and tanks on the bottom side. BratOK is able to build up into his mech style here at the moment. As you do see the +1 ship weapon starting up from souL. I mean, okay, so the mech is obviously up on 3 bases. The tough part becomes getting the 4th base now. If you get to the 4 bases, you're in a very good spot, but can souL stop that from happening? If he can, brilliant for him. If he can't, that's actually where BratOK really will start again to a very strong position as we have these couple of libs coming forwards, and they'll siege up a couple of mineral lines to keep on applying the pressure. Okay, that's coming in around the top, and again the bio able to get rid of a few of those Hellions, so picking up some kills there. Liberators, Siege, and SCVs going to start going down en masse. In fact, a lot of SCVs going down. 9 workers dropping there. The Vikings going heading towards the top left-hand side to chase that Liberator down. And again, here comes this army of BratOK coming over to the left. Hellions, Vikings, tanks. All of this getting ready to go. A few SCVs being pulled across the map as well now. Well, this is the big push from BratOK. Can souL defend? I mean, generally, having to play the defensive position as the terror, as the bio play is going to suck because those tanks are able to get right on top of you, and then you have to try and find a way to push in, and that's not easy. Missile turrets coming down here as well. That's the goal of theirs, just to kind of create dominance in the air, in the skies, just in case souL has been trying to mass up units in that regard. A few more tanks and sieging. Tanks still pressing forwards. Two medevacs loading up from souL, going to head down to the bottom right-hand side. These couple of tanks from BratOK coming over to the left as well. Vikings still overhead. I mean, souL's in some trouble, I think, because he doesn't have the Viking count to really be competitive, I feel. He's 8 against 10. I guess with shorter reinforcement distance, there is something there, and he's about to have +1 ship weapons. The counter drop might be able to get some good damage done too. souL hasn't actually lost many workers throughout all of this, whereas obviously BratOK is starting to lose some workers now. 15 already going down. One medevac loads up and we'll just go straight towards the main base to try and split up this damage because reinforcements are not coming out fast enough. And BratOK, while he delayed the 4th base from coming down, that is all he's really achieved here. As those Marines and Marauders hide in the corner, get one of the Vikings. These Marauders just going huge at the moment. And again, a few SCVs on top of it. 17. Very lucky BratOK that he didn't lose more there, really. His army has pulled back. One Viking in this mineral line is getting some SCVs as Liberator shows up, and these couple of tanks that were left behind here, those are now going down. So these couple of tanks will fall as Bio stims in over on the far right side. So that Planetary Fortress on the way up starting to drop. Obviously gets lifted, gets saved, and souL will just stim out of there. But souL, with one drop, has really started to turn this game around from a position of being under so much pressure to really kind of making this work. Now he's kiting away and trading out with these Hellions and the Hellbats. And quite a lot done. The Viking kind of really like from souL right now as well. Feels like he's just got so much. 6 Vikings on the way from BratOK. He lands his Vikings in fear of what's going on up in the sky there. Vikings continue to move around. Going to land on top of this actually, and here we go. He's going to stim on in. The Vikings soaking up a lot of initial damage. The Liberator Siege is up too. I mean, it's a lot of Vikings lost here from souL, and he will struggle to clean up the last few siege tanks as well, but he will eventually get there. Lifts Vikings back into the sky to try and protect the Liberator, which will just get another siege tank kill. Only 1 tank remains in the middle of the map from BratOK. souL survives with 4 Vikings. A pretty insane fight in the middle of the map. As we have those Vikings in the tank setting up on the right-hand side. A little bit of a fight breaking out once again. SCV is going to build up command center in the upper right-hand side. So top right, command center will begin to build. A couple of Hellions going to head up. Tanks and Vikings still hanging out from BratOK, who is down on supply now. This is where it gets dangerous, right? You know, we see souL starting to be all over the map. However, this is only an orbital, so a couple of Hellions can actually get a surprising amount of work done. Although no blue flame. Well, that's just strange at this stage of the game to not have blue flame, because it actually makes those Hellions run by so much deadlier. +2 vehicle plating coming in on the armories again. This army from souL is going to think about potentially pushing forwards here. Fifth base down in the upper right side. On the far left, single Marine is just nibbling its way through that missile turret, cleaning it up from what was that big push that BratOK really was looking very good for earlier. "13 Vikings currently up from BratOK." That's the issue. souL only has... Oh, he has 4 starports. Surely those starports are pretty fresh, though, some of them. Yeah, I feel like these two over here have just finished, and that's why they're still building tech labs. So those are still just building up, as we do see Vikings and Libs going to be moving back to the left, just shutting down these couple of aggressive Liberators trying to harass, but not going to have much luck. There's still +1 ship weapons here from souL against... Well, it's about to be +2 vehicle plate. He's about to have +2 ship weapons himself, so he does have an upgrade lead. This top right base is just in trouble. There's no way you can defend that, I don't think. Counter-attack, though. I mean, this base is open. This base down here is open. There's so many bases that just have no real protection on them at the moment. There's a couple of Marauders picking up 1 Hellion. The other Hellion will go down as well. So 2 Hellions picked off there. Again, top right base goes down, but I really feel there should be a base that goes down on this bottom side. Like, these 2 command centers, I mean, there's a cancel on one sense tower goes down as well. I don't know how many Marines are in this. There's a good few. Is it enough to take down an orbital? Perhaps not. 10 SCVs guy on each side of the map. The response to the top is to bring in Liberators to clean up those tanks, so that's not an issue. The air army's still over there, as we're going to see Liberators sieging up on the bottom side of the map as well. And they're going to start actually getting some kills here. These Marines want to force the tank shots. We'll get rid of them, and again, souL just wants to bring this army away, really, more so than anything else. We'll land the Vikings just to clean up a couple of turrets that have been built over here. These SCVs can get back to work as souL has another command center down in the center of the map. And those Marauders just backing away off to the left-hand side here. +3 ship weapons, +2 vehicle plating on the way up as well, and we are going to be seeing still those Vikings having a little bit of a tough time. Tanks coming in from the right. We'll pick off a few more Marauders. Nice cleanup here from BratOK in the end, but took a while. However, it does have an army supply lead. Viking production is just so important at this stage. The 7 against 3 Libs with 16 to 20 Vikings. It's funny because actually Liberators, you don't expect them to do so well, but they actually do very well because of the splash and how clumped up Vikings can be. So a couple of Liberator shots can change the way an entire fight goes in the skies here. And there we go. The Liberators get huge connections to begin with, which is actually going to give you that little bit of what you need here as souL to maybe win this fight out. Remember, he's got better upgrades overall as well. Actually, it's kind of evened out, I guess, 2-1 to 1-2. There you go. He picks off a lot of Vikings there, and that's a big win for him, but he still needs something to clean up. Now he has to build Liberators to deal with this ground army pressing forwards. Once the Liberators out, that'll be huge. He's actually got a lot of units dropping across the map, so that is why he's missing a few units. He wants to get into the main shutdown production, which would obviously be fantastic as well. These Vikings coming back over. Probably should have landed over here and killed up these tanks, which are going to get a base right away. Now this drop, though, in the main is going to be deadly, because, again, he's going to get rid of he's going to get rid of all the production. Vikings are not really going to be able to do anything in this scenario. Vikings up over here. There's 9 Vikings against 10. 4 Liberators are out, and they're sieging up from a distance because Liberator range has now completed. souL's losing out on his Vikings, though. It's now 2 against 4. It's very close. In fact, Liberators will unsiege and back away. souL's still in some trouble, but there is this army in the main base, which, again, shutting down the majority of production. Nothing else is coming out from BratOK. He will not get more army on the map. So souL is almost forcing BratOK into a checkmate scenario here. They have a starport going down. souL doesn't have much left, and he does not have the air control yet. He's got a couple of starports still building. That's so important. He needs that in Vikings and those couple of Liberators to be able to just siege up. And he just starts to siege them up here now. The Vikings will come forward to protect them. Tanks will be pushed away. They'll be able to start again, getting some good damage onto those. And BratOK just GG's out. He's being cleaned up too quickly on the other side of the map, and souL has enough to hold.